Hello again. Hofer here, again, just me. Uh, I'm gonna get the next or the last chapter of Pony in My Pocket up soon. I actually recorded it and then something happened and I lost the recording. And I don't really feel like recording it again right now, so I'm gonna move on to Saving Private Bloom. Uh, it's fairly short. It's a crossover of very obviously Saving Private Ryan. And I don't really know what to expect other than there's going to be a lot of puns, I can already tell. Um, and the like to dislike ratio is not great. It's 18 to 9. So, it hasn't been viewed too much, but I'll go ahead and read it. This is Saving Private Bloom by Tie Dye 3000. Here we go. Make sure, yeah, okay, I'm recording. Wow, minute long, my bad, guys. Long intro. Journal entry. Private, first class, Apple Bloom. June 13th, 1944. It had been weeks since my platoon and I were deployed in Ramel. But I'm not one to complain about where we're sent to protect our country. We were stationed in a city in ruin to watch out for Germain Posey troops. This is going to be good. A strong force of which were led by a terrifying leader named Adolf Hitler, who was trying his best to take over all of the planet's countries, including Equestria. Ramel was directly between the Equestrian forces and the Germain army in a country called Der Hof. So it was vital we held the position to keep a watch for the Germains. Today, however, had to be the worst possible day to ever happen within those weeks. Okay. My squad and I were patrolling outside Ramel, outside the Ramel boundaries in a grassy plain, when we heard a rumbling sound. We hit the deck as quickly as we could, and didn't move a muscle. The rumbling grew louder, and the ground started to tremble. Our leader, a corporal, pointed her hoof forward, and we saw a Germain tank, heavily armored and painted camo to match the grass, complete with a turret gunner. The corporal put her hoof up, telling us to freeze in place. We did, and wait. But you're already on the ground. Whatever. We did, and waited for her to put her hoof down. Instead, she pointed at the tank, apparently again, and pumped her hoof down. We took that as a signal to fire. Our squad's demolition took out her bazooka, aimed at the tank, and took a shot. It hit the tank, causing it to catch fire. She reloaded her weapon, aimed, and took another shot. Direct hit. The tank was gone. It was engulfed in flames, and Germain ponies who survived the explosion were getting out through the top hatch. We aimed our weapons, but didn't need to shoot, for we heard bullets being shot, and the Germains fell dead off the tank's roof. Others jumped out of the back. Some went right, some left. We heard more gunshots, and could only assume that the ones that went right were dead. The corporal put her hoof back in the air, and we held our fire. The Germains on the left had taken cover behind the truck. We then heard an order being shouted by a pony. Take their left flank, take their left flank, she was yelling. Slowly, very slowly, a purple pony turned around the front of the tank, peered over, and moved forward. I cannot talk right now. Crouching and pointing her gun forward. We were sure she'd be dead. She was near the back of the tank. When the Germains came around and began to shoot, she had taken out all three of them, however, without being hit by a single bullet. She had turned around and searched the rest of the area. The corporal then whispered to us that she was a friendly, and called, 101st, we're coming out. These are all female voices as far as I can tell, but I don't know if I'm going to do them. We got off the ground. The purple pony turned around, waved her hoof in the air, and reloaded her weapon. Another squad of ponies came out of the grass and headed towards us. That was a recon element 2nd SS, the corporal told her. We were expecting a problem, and that must have been it. Okay, fine. I'll do some female voices, I guess. Captain Sparkle, she said to us. Charlie Charlie Horse Company, 2nd Wranglers. Corporal Bonbon, Easy Company, 501st, of course. Bloom, 1st Class, 506th, I said when she turned and faced me. Bell, Private, 506th, said my friend next to me. Apple Bloom? Damn it. Apple Bloom? Captain Sparkle asked me suddenly. Yes, ma'am, I replied, surprised. How'd you guess that? Captain Sparkle turned and looked at her squad, all of whom were staring at me. Among them I saw my big sister, Applejack. I was so happy to see her. I could have shoved the captain to the floor to try and get to her. The only reason I didn't was because her lips were trembling. But I didn't know why. Not yet, anyway. Looks like you girls were hit pretty hard, Sparkle said, later at Rommel. Yes, ma'am, I replied, looking at the destroyed city. It's why I wanted more action. They came in and beat the hay out of us with Hayti 8s. I don't know what that's a reference to. There was a short pause. Tell you what, ma'am, I said. If you could relieve me, I'll file a complaint. I wouldn't blame you, Sparkle said as she gazed some more at the surroundings. Who's your CO? It would have been Captain Jenny, ma'am, I said, but I'm afraid the mess we're in right now is horrible. So what are you girls doing here anyway? We're here for you, Bloom, Sparkle said. Me, ma'am? I said, startled by her words again. Yes, you, she said. Apple Bloom of Sweet Apple Acres. Yes, ma'am, I replied, starting to feel a bit self-explanatory. But, ma'am, what is this about? Sparkle sighed and looked at me. In her eyes, I could see pity and sorrow. She then said the most horrible thing to me. Your brother's been killed in combat. I gasped, putting my right hoof to my mouth, my eyes tearing up. I beat back the temptation to cry. It couldn't have happened, not to Macintosh. I know how it feels to lose someone in the war, said Sparkle. So if you want some private time, somewhere to go alone, you're welcome to. That was when I broke. Lost my spot. The tears that leaked out of my eyes then could have flowed the Murderay River, flowing between Rommel and Newville. Big Macintosh, the eldest, the smartest, the toughest brother I ever had and will have, dead. Gone. It was just me and Applejack left. It's more or less a crossover. That's not exactly how things happened in the movie. I sank onto the crate behind me and wept, sniffling, tears still streaming down my cheeks. I looked up at Sparkle, who had risked her life just to tell me this. Thank you, I told her, my voice cracking. Thank you for all coming all the way here just to tell me that. She sat down next to me and patted me on the shoulder. My head fell into my hooves and on my knees. I was still crying. Well, there's something else, Sparkle said in my ear softly. You're going home. I raised my head to look at her. My vision blurred from tears. Our orders were to bring you back, she said. Bring me back, I said in almost a whisper. She got up and went to the corporal. I'm sorry to have to take one more person off your hooves, Corporal, she said to her. Those quotations are backwards. But orders are orders. Is there any communication station here to call for reinforcements? I have my orders too, ma'am, I said before Bonbon could answer. And I'm pretty sure there was nothing about abandoning my post and leaving my team to die. I understand that, Sparkle said, turning to face me. But this changes things. I don't see that it does, ma'am, I said back to her. Sparkle stared at me, bewildered. The Chief and Staff of Equestrian Armies says it does. Our orders are to hold the bridge at all costs. Damn it, wrong person. Our orders are to hold the bridge at all costs, Bon Bon said, pointing to the bridge that crossed over from Rommel to Neuville. The Pegasi and the 82nd have taken out all bridges across Murderay, with the exception of 2. One of the lone and that one over there. The Germains took the other one. So it's all down to this one. Private? Said Sparkle, turning to me. If your granny wants you to stay, you can stay. But she doesn't, you see. She's worried about you and Applejack here. We wanted to get you both together before we shipped you back to your families. Ma'am, Ma'am, can't I at least wait for reinforcements to arrive? I began, but Sparkle cut me off. You have 3 minutes to gather your gear. Ma'am, please, what about them? I pointed to the rest of my platoon. There's barely anyone else here. Hey, Mule, I don't know how to do a Spike voice. Hey, Mule, called the baby dragon from Sparkle's squad. 2 of our guys have already died trying to find you, all right? There was a pause in which I stared at the baby dragon. Then my curiosity broke the silence. Oh, no. What were their names? I asked. Scootaloo and Rarity, Applejack said, bowing her head. Rarity had been a close friend of hers, and she knew I was close friends with Scootaloo. I was filled with even more sorrow. Scoot had been one of my best friends. I was able to hold back my tears this time, but regretfully my head then hurt with all the losses. It doesn't make any sense, I said under my breath. Then loudly this time, I turned to Spike. It doesn't make any sense, ma'am. Why me? Why do I get to go? Why not any of these guys? They all fought just as hard as me, maybe even harder. Is that why you're supposed to tell, is that what they're supposed to tell your granny? Sparkle said. When they send home another folded equestrian flag? You know, I have to wonder what an equestrian flag looks like. That got a bit of a boil started in my gut. Why was she being so difficult? Why didn't she understand? When they find my body, I said right in her face, tell her I died right here with the only siblings I have left. And there was no way I was going to desert them. I think she'll understand that. Applejack smiled at me, droplets falling from her cheeks. There's no way I'm leaving this bridge. There's no way I'm leaving this bridge, I said, and walked past Sparkle and headed to the rest of my platoon. Wow, I made a lot of mistakes in that reading. Alright, Chapter 2. Later, I found that Sparkle and her squad were still there, and gathering up all our equipment. I rushed over to the squad sniper, Rainbow Dash, sweet, to see what was going on. We're staying to help you guys hold your spot, of course. Oh no, wait, oh, damn it, she's the sniper, said the Pegasus, and I lighted up like a light bulb. Okay. If they were going to stay, that meant we had a stronger resistance. I followed Rainbow to where the rest of her squad was. They were on the ground level of one of the buildings, and in the middle of the room was all our weapons and ammo. Is that all of it? Is that all of it, Dash? Sparkle asked as we entered. Yep, Rainbow Dash replied. All the weapons I could find. Hey, Bloom, said Sparkle, seeing me come in behind Rainbow. Sorry about all this. We're just trying to get ready for the defense. This is fantastic, I said excitedly. Now we might be able to hold off the Germains. Exactly, said Sparkle. Now we just need to be filled in on what the weapons are. Spike, want to fill us in? Nah, not me, said the baby dragon. I don't know how to do a Spike voice, so I'll just do a slightly lower voice. I don't even know what weapon I use. Ask Rainbow. She's the one who got it all together. Okay, good thing I'm awesome with... damn it. Okay, good thing I'm awesome with weapons, said Rainbow. That sound... whatever. And she looked at all the weapons in the pile. Looks like we've got a 230 230 caliber machine gun, 17 grenades, 11 Hawkins mines, and 2 bazookas. Only 8 rounds left, though. Oh, and assorted small arms. Might as well be spitwads if they bring any tanks, said Spike. Which they'd surely do, said Sparkle. She had a thinking look on her face. What you thinking, ma'am? I asked. Well, she said, I'm thinking about how we're going to take their flanks, unless we can draw them up the main road in between these buildings, where all the rubble makes a bit of a bottleneck. Disable them? I asked. Yeah, if we can. Make that tank a 60-ton roadblock. Sure, we can do that if we had a fighting chance at their flanks. Wow, I lost my spot. Yes, ma'am, that'll split them up. Oh. Yes, ma'am, that'll split them up, said a yellow Pegasus. She blushed and turned away. What is Fluttershy doing in a war? And turned away when everyone looked at her. Exactly, Fluttershy. We hit them as hard as we can, Sparkle said. 1-on-1, and then fall back to the bridge. Dash, if we can, we'll get you up there in that bell tower. God damn it. What do you mean if we can? Asked Rainbow. She fluttered her wings. Sparkle looked at her sternly. I mean, yes, ma'am. And Dash grabbed her sniper rifle. Sorry, I'm shaking my Dash voice today. And flew up to the bell tower. Well, this'll be a piece of cake, said Spike sarcastically. All we have to do is get the huge tank over the main road and blow it up. But how, ma'am? How the hay do you intend to get the tank over there and blow it up? We get a rabbit to chase it, said Sparkle, and then we stop it in its tracks. Okay. Yeah, but with what? I asked. We could try a sticky bomb, Sparkle suggested. A sticky bomb, ma'am? Are you making that up? No, it's in the field manual. Check it out if you want to. Of course. Well, we seem to be out of field manuals, ma'am, Spike said. Okay, I'll tell you how to make them. You take some TNT, stick it in a sock, rig it up with a simple fuse, cover the whole thing with axle grease, and when you throw it, it should stick to anything you throw it at. Well, Fluttershy stammered. I don't mean to be rude, Twilight, but, we don't really wear socks. Lucky for us, I've always wanted to make a sticky bomb, so I asked Rarity, before she died, to make us some socks in case I ever got the chance. And one more thing. One of the Germains is extremely dangerous. Look out for a pink pony bouncing around the battlefield. Wow, okay. And though she may look harmless, she'll kill you with the blink of an eye. We should have killed her when she was our hostage. Well, enough chit-chat. Let's get to it. Some of the ponies went to the bridge to rig it with TNT. Others took the socks that Sparkle brought and made the sticky bombs as best they could. Some ponies were placing self-detonating mines where the tank should appear. Rainbow Dash and a pony named Berry Punch were already in the bell tower, checking the surrounding boundaries for the Germans with binoculars. Applejack and a pony, Carrot Top, went into a small house that was facing the street. They were hidden behind a window so they could shoot any Germans that got past the boundaries. Crossing the bridge, Sparkle and I were making our way to the Newville side of the battlefield. With us was a pony named Hooves. a sergeant in Sparkle's platoon. That building there, said Sparkle, pointing to the building near the edge of the water. We'll call that Alamo. And if they push us back too far, the last pony alive will blow up the bridge. And there's a 32-second delay on that explosion from the charges. So tell everyone that the last man alive better hurry up or he or she won't be alive long. Okay. Oh, I see. Captain, I asked, suddenly aware of something. Where am I during all this? No more than 2 hooves away from me, she replied. Let's not negotiate. I remember Applejack walking around the place, seeing how everything was going, and looking for Fluttershy. When she spotted her helping Dash, getting extra explosives into the tower. Hey there, Fluttershy, she called. Fluttershy nearly dropped the explosives out of surprise. Oh, hi, Applejack. She didn't start a new paragraph. She said, still a bit shaken. Listen, I need to talk to you something. Okay. Applejack said. You listening? Good. I need you to be the ammo supplier this time, okay? You run around the battlefield finding your friends and seeing if they need ammo. Don't worry about Dash. She brought extra rounds into the tower. So be on the lookout for anyone who needs ammo. Because if we've got no ammo, we're dead. Understood? Oh, I don't know, Applejack. Seems a bit scared. Excellent, said Applejack, slinging an ammo belt over Fluttershy's neck. I knew I could count on you. Fluttershy let out a little whimper and checked if Spike had enough ammo. When all the preparations were set, Fluttershy, Applejack, Spike, and I were on the doorstep of one of the ruined houses, listening to a French pony singing on a record. Mon petit poney, mon petit poney. Say, Fluttershy, don't you speak a little French? Said Spike asked. Oh, yes, but I don't want to sing it out loud, Spike. Fluttershy said softly. Well, I wish we could listen to something that we can actually understand, I cried. Now listen here, little sis, Applejack said. The singer doesn't have to sing in English for the magic of her voice to fill our mind. This was true enough. The song was very calming, even though we were on the brink of a big battle. So, you gonna tell us about this Big Mac? Or are we gonna be left to guess, too? Said Spike to me. Well, I was trying hard to remember the last time I saw Big Macintosh, and I remembered a night back in '42 that made me crack up just at the thought of it. One night, a long time ago, I was sleeping in my bedroom when Applejack here shook me awake and told me there was something hilarious I needed to see. So she took me outside the barn. The front door was open, so we could hear everything that was going on in there. Big Mac had brought a girl over, named Derpy, I think. She wasn't the best-looking gal. Looked like she fell from the top of an ugly tree and hit every branch coming down. And she was daring him to swear at the top of his lungs for some reason I can't recollect. But just as he was about to do it, Applejack shouted, Big Mackie, you're a young colt! Don't do it! Which cracked me up, freaking out Macintosh, and startled Derpy so much she was flying in all directions. At one point, she hit her head on a ledge and knocked herself out. Now, Big Macintosh was angry at Applejack for doing that, so he grabbed a shovel and rushed at Applejack and chased her for all over the barn. But at the same time trying to get Derpy to come too. But at the same time trying to get Derpy to come too. So he was dragging her by her back hooves while chasing Applejack. And Applejack was screaming, What are you going after me for? I just did you a favor. Now this made Macintosh madder, and he was swinging that shovel like a mad horse. And at one point, it flew out of his hoof and hit a lantern, which ignited into flames. The whole barn almost went up because of this. Everyone was laughing, but Applejack was just killing herself. but Applejack was just killing herself, her being in the story. Okay. And then the laughter died down. That was the last I ever saw of him, I continued. That was the last time the three of us were together. He was shipped off to boot camp the next day. That was nearly 2 years ago. I have one word to describe that, Spike said. Foobar. Again, if you haven't watched the other videos, and for anybody that doesn't know what foobar means, it's an acronym for fucked up beyond all recognition. Sparkle was getting coffee in one of the tents pitched around the city. She was desperately trying to get the last bits of the machine and not tip it over, because every time she shifted position, it would shake uncontrollably. When she finally got the last bits out, she made sure that the machine was carefully placed so it wouldn't fall off the table. She then began to walk out of the tent, when a crash behind her made her whip around, startled. The coffee machine had still fallen over. Sparkle stood stone still. She was trembling, not out of fear, but because the ground underneath her was... Oh, because the ground underneath her was. She looped out of the tent and found me under the bell tower. I, too, had felt the tremor. Looking to the top of the bell tower, we saw Dash waving frantically at us. She was doing hoof signals as well. Sparkle translated them. Dash tilted her rifle forward, then to her right. Coming from the east, she pointed to her eyes, hit the air twice, and made a T with her hooves. 2 Tiger tanks. She did the same thing, but made a P this time. 2 Panther tanks. She pointed down, her hoof hitting the air 5 times, and made a circle. Wow. Infantry 50. We all gathered round, waiting for Sparkle to give the order. And then, after a few seconds of thinking, she said, Disperse, you all know what to do. Private, get on the rabbit, she added to one of the ponies. Yes, ma'am, said the pony, and dashed off to the east to try and get the tank into the bottleneck. Lock and load, Bon, called Sparkle. Every pony check your ammo. Carrot Top and Applejack went into the house and planted the tooth-hurty... I laugh every time I see that. It's tooth-hurty caliber, so it pointed through the window. Rainbow and Barry were loading their rifles and checking the charges. Fluttershy was running around frantically, both checking if anyone had all their ammo and if she could find a place to hide. Sparkle, Hooves, and I were hiding behind a foxhole, our guns pointed towards the main road. And that's the end of Chapter 2, so I'll end it there with a nice cliffhanger for anybody who might be deciding to read or listen to this. I'm actually enjoying this story more than I thought I might. I do like the idea of a crossover, but looking at the amount of likes to dislikes, I wasn't sure if it was going to be any good. Alright, so I will post the rest of these chapters sometime later, as well as the 3rd chapter of Pony in My Pocket.